the real cost of selling your home, you definitely want to watch this video. Think you know what it costs to sell your home? Most sellers don't, which surprises me. And if you don't know what it's going to cost to sell your home, it could cost you thousands more than expected. So let's jump right in with number one, why this matters. Most sellers focus on how much they're going to make when they go to sell. And if you don't understand all of your expenses or how much you're going to spend, you're going to get a not so nice surprise when you go to closing expecting X and you're actually getting Y. Number two is agent commissions. You know this is the biggest expense and the most misunderstood. Most commissions are anywhere from 5 to 6%, and this is actually split between the listing and the buying agents in the transaction. This commission goes to cover items like marketing, negotiation, exposure, managing showings, and other costs that the agent that you hire has to incur in order to market, advertise your property, and get you to the closing table. While we're on commission, cheaper isn't always better, because cheaper usually is going to get you poor marketing, poor photos, lackluster negotiation, which is going to cost you thousands in the end. Number three is closing costs. So the buyer isn't the only one that's going to have closing costs. And as a seller, there are more closing costs besides the commission, which include deed stamps, recording fees, transfer taxes, capital gain withdrawal taxes, lien releases. Some other fees that actually get prorated at closing are property taxes as well as your HOA fees. Now, I always recommend 1 to 3% for all of these other fees on top of the commission to give you a good idea, a ballpark, what you're going to pay total out the door. Number four is repairs and prepping your home. So little charges like these add up and they can actually break or make a sale. So some pre-sale items that you might want to look at doing is some repairs in paint, flooring, roof patches, or even HVAC servicing, because most buyers, they don't want to deal with this when they buy a property. So if there's old HVACs or issues that they know ahead of time, they might pass on your house altogether, or they might not make an offer because of these items. Other items you might want to consider is deep cleaning, landscaping, some staging, and even some decluttering, because these items will help you sell the house better, quicker, and for more money. Number five is HOA fees and special assessments. So if you are in an HOA community or condo building, you definitely want to pay attention to this, because a lot of sellers do not realize how special assessments work. Now, we know the monthly HOA or the quarterly HOA fees or dues are prorated at closing, but what about those special assessments? If a special assessment is approved prior to closing, you are 100% responsible for that balance. And that is how the HOA deems the responsibility too. So because you are part of the HOA that approved the special assessment, they are going to require you to pay that either prior to closing or at closing out of the proceeds. And here's the caveat: it doesn't matter when it is due. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking, well, I'm on month-to-month payments for this special assessment. Unfortunately, the HOA, when they send the information to the attorney, they're going to say that Mr. and Mrs. Seller have an unpaid special assessment balance of $3,000 that you need to collect out of the proceeds. Some real-world special assessment repairs include roof replacement, balcony reconstruction, steel reconstruction, plumbing repairs. All this goes into what the special assessment costs, and it gets levied against the owner at the time it was passed. So unfortunately, you can't pass on the special assessment to the new buyer, because the HOA goes, this is the seller's 100% responsibility. Now, if the special assessment's approved after closing, you don't have to worry. That's the buyer's responsibility. It's whoever the owner is at the time it was passed. That's who the responsibility lies on. I would reach out to your HOA before closing to understand any unpaid special assessment balances that you're going to be responsible for, as well as any fines or any unpaid charges. Number 6, inspection and buyer repair requests. I know your house is probably in great condition, and I get it, but a home inspector is going to find issues with it. Let's say the inspector doesn't find much, the buyer will always ask for something. I have actually seen brand new construction come back from a home inspection with a laundry list of items and defects that need to be addressed by the builder. So I'm not going to say that everything is lickety-split perfect in your house. I'm just saying that the home inspector will find stuff, because if a brand new house, new construction, has defects, usually your house that's 2 to 5 years old or older is going to come back with issues. Now, these repair requests are always going to lead to some kind of credit or repair fixes, which come with a cost, either a credit at closing or you have to pay a contractor to get these items repaired. My recommendation is to get a pre-sale inspection on your property so you can get ahead of these buyer requests and we can get past due diligence or the inspection a lot more smoother. What I would do is I would leave a little room in the budget for these repairs or give a credit to get past the inspection. Number 7, moving and carrying costs. So selling isn't the end. You still have to move, and moving costs money. Some costs involved in moving is moving companies, storage, or even utility overlaps. Carrying costs, if your home or your next home isn't ready, include temporary housing, a rental, or worse, double mortgages. My recommendation is go ahead and start planning now and ahead so you don't have to run into issues or scrambling around to try and find a roof over your head. Number 8, net sheet, or as I like to call it, the real example of your cost to sell. So here's how it all shakes out in the real world. And before I jump into the actual cost to sell, do you realize that there are listing agents out there, and the majority of listing agents do not even share a net sheet with their sellers at all before they list the property, when they get an offer, basically leaving the sellers guessing at what you're going to walk away with at the closing table, which is always a surprise, because when they get to the closing table, they see all these other charges outside of the commission, and then they're not happy because they thought they were getting X and they're getting Y. When I sit down with sellers, I actually provide twice a net sheet to my sellers, giving them an idea before we list the property. Here are 3 selling prices and what it's going to cost at these 3 prices and what you're going to walk away with, to give you an idea, ballpark of the money in your pocket at closing. And then the second time is when we get an offer, because I take the terms of the offer and the other expenses that might not have been on the net sheet when we list the property and turn around and give them a great idea within a couple $100s of what they're walking away with. Do you know that lenders will give a breakdown of the estimated cost to buy a house? Full breakdown. Attorneys give a breakdown of the 6 or 7 charges in order to hire them as their attorney when you buy or sell a house. But for some reason, listing agents do not provide this. I provide this, and it includes everything from the purchase price, the commissions, the deed stamps, transfer taxes, capital gains withdrawal taxes, mortgages, HOAs, special assessment balances, any other fees, estimated attorney fees. All of this is in there to give the seller a great idea of what they're walking away with. That way, when they go to closing, it's a great day for them instead of a disappointing day, because they thought they were getting X and they're actually getting Y, which is Y always lower than X every single time. What I would do before you hire an agent, I would 100% ask for a sample net sheet to give you an idea of your cost of selling, and then make sure you get a net sheet when you get an offer so you know basically how much you're going to walk away with and there's no surprises. Folks, that's all I got. If you're thinking of selling, reach out to me. I'd love to share with you a sample net sheet or go over your full expense and costs in selling. No pressure, no guesswork. And if you feel that a net sheet would help you in selling, drop me a comment. Let me know how I can send my net sheet to you, give you a great idea of what the costs involved in selling in today's market. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like, subscribe button, drop me a comment. Let me know if there's an expense I forgot or left out, and I would love to hear from you. Have a wonderful day. See you guys in the next video.